Tron, and the amp I mostly use on my 2000 over there is an ACOM 2008, and I really like that little amp. But over here in the house, I don't have an amp over here because the radio does the final tune on the tuner, and I don't like to overdrive anything over here, so I just leave it with the radio and let that be it. But you're coming up through your goops, whatever you're putting out there, your antenna and all, and it ain't got no water up in it coming this way, that's for sure.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I'm putting out right at 1,500 watts off the test. Yeah, right at 1,500 watts, and it's a 3CX800 conversion from the original 8874s done by Dick Bird. And I've got three alphas here. One's 50 years old. It's one of 22 ever made. And rare of the rare, it's an Alpha 274. And then I've got an Alpha 78 here, and then I got a buddy that's got a 374 down at his shack. He's going through it for me. I picked that up for $300. So the step start resistors were out of it for piling it on. So I bought some, and he's putting them in and testing it all up and fixing any caps that are bad. So we'll see how that performs once he gets that all back together. Over.
Okay. Yeah, I heard you talk about those amps the other day there, and I can tell you that's some good amps for their time. And I just the ones I got that grade for, I've had it for I don't know how long. There's been a few wanting to buy it, first one thing and another, but I got it hooked up over to a Yazoo 920, and I got it set up in a 10-meter antenna for the 10-meter band when it's open, and then I have the other amps set up right there for the 10-tick, and then the ACOM is set up with the Yazoo 2000. But they all, I can't remember one of them at a time, but it's just according to the band that's running the best. That way I don't have to keep tuning and aggravate everybody tuning up. It's all tuned, and when I turn it on, all I got to do is talk on it, and I don't have to make a bunch of racket, huh?
Yeah, Roger on that. Yeah, I want to do a 10 or 12 foot expansion of my shed, knock out one wall, and my pole barn garage is only 30 foot deep, so I figured another 10 or 12 feet on it, then I'll have 3 good walls to build benches on, then I can put up all my radios and all my amps and have set up like you got your setup, one for each band, over.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it there, when you got the tuner set up system and everything, and all you have to do is just push the button, it goes bang, 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 and you're done. And you don't have to do a bunch of squealing or COing or nothing like that. It'll just come right in there for you, and you just go right to talking. That's the way I do with this radio right here. When I go to the band, it tunes it for me, so I don't have to do nothing but key the mic and go to talking. I don't have to hold the band up at all.
Yeah, Roger on that.
It helps out a lot, with people holding the cue, so sometimes you don't even know they're on there, and you go to tuning up and you bother them, so they don't like to be bothered, and I don't like to bother them, so I just, I've got her set up that way, and all I got to do is just start talking. Just go to the band, it'll blink 2 or 3 times, the tune button will, and all I got to do is start talking. Just like I do right here, and it'll do the whole 40-meter band. So I kind of like it pretty good right there. I'm satisfied with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Is that an L4B you got?
Yeah, that amp it came when I got it. It had the 400Zs, and I changed them to the 500 ZGs, and I had to get me some plate caps, to go with them, because the 400s and the 500s are a little bit different on the main top. So I had to get me some plate caps to put on top of the 500 ZGs so I could use them. And they've been in there ever since.
Yeah, roger that. You can't beat a good old pair of 3 500Zs.
They do really good. It's always been good to me. It's never given me no trouble or anything. Of course, with age, your caps and things go to popping or something will pop on it. And I don't know if I'd have to take it a long ways up the road to get somebody to work on it, because I don't know where to get the parts right now. I ain't ordered any in so long for anything. But I'd probably get online there and look them up and see what I might need to fix it with. But I just really let somebody work on stuff that knows what they're doing, and just that way they can, like you're doing, I let somebody take it in and fix it up when it needs it, and I can just go pick it up and put her back in line.
Yeah, Roger. You've heard Dean on here, right? K4ATR?
Yeah, I hear, it seems like I have. I hear a lot of you guys here from time to time. Sometimes I'm watching a wrestling or something, and I just lay back and watch wrestling and let y'all get at it. But I probably heard him on there.
Yeah, Roger. Well, he's my amp guy. He knows everything there is to know about amps. He got an old 10-Tech Centurion from a radio club. It failed right out of the box, and it sit in a back storage room that they wanted to turn into an office, and he found that thing back there when they were cleaning it out, and the guy said, take it home with you. And the QSK board had went out on it. Right out of the box it failed, and they never ever used it or done anything with it. And he got it in 2010. It's been sitting on his in his shack for 13 years waiting to find out if he could definitely have it or not. And they said, yeah, you can have it. We don't want it back. So he went through it, fixed it all up, and changed some caps and fixed the QSK board because it was taking a direct 12 volts off of the transformer with no voltage regulator on it. So anytime the line voltage changed, it raised the voltage up, popped the power circuit in it. And so he put a voltage regulator on it, so that wouldn't help happen anymore. Put a new pair of 3500Zs on it and made the cap modification. Now he gets a 1200 watt amp with a pair of 3500Zs, was throttled down, and he changed that. Now he gets 1500 out. It's the prettiest thing you ever seen.
That was lucky getting that amp, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it cost him a new set of tubes. Heck, he had a mismatched pair of 3500Zs he just had laying around in the shack. He put them in there, and he was getting 1500 watts out of that after he made all the modifications. But he's going to sell it up there at the ham convention next week, so he went ahead and put a brand new set of 3500Zs from Henry in it, and so it's got a year warranty on the tubes. So it's a really nice amp. I'm tempted.
Yeah, it's hard to find an amp these days at a reasonable price. Man, I was looking in them books and things and what people are selling them for, and you probably find one that's been handed down across the country, where everybody in the world's drove it and done a lot of hard work with it there. The worst part of it's when they get those 10-meter amps and put them on 11 meters so much, and that puts a lot of power against them tubes. And but if you can find one that ain't been abused, but it's going to cost you a lot of little green stamps.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I've got two amps that's going to use those 8874s. The 374 he's got, it's a 3-tube amp, and then my 274 uses a pair of the 8874s. But they're still the original tubes, and they work like a champ. I still get full power out on them, about 1200 watts, PEP. And then I've got a spare set of 3CX800s and a spare 8874s. So if any of the amps break, I got tubes to fix them.
Well, there you go. I still got those 400Zs for my Drake if I should ever have to put them back in there. I never had to adjust nothing when I put those 500s in there. I just had to put some plate caps on top of them because, they're just a difference on the tops. But other than that, I still have those, and now I set it down to 110. I had to go into the transformer and the amp both and take it back to 110, but I got 220 in it, but I got that ACOM 2000A hooked up to the 220 there, and the Mertron, it's 110. So I just went on ahead and hooked that other one up with 110, that way I won't get them confused.
Yeah, roger that. Well, I've got, when I built my shack here last year, when I wired it up, I put a 220 outlet on every wall, so I don't have to worry about running 220 to run these other 3 amps. So every wall will have a 220 plug on it already.
Yeah, that's good right there. It's my old shacks out there, I got so much in them, so much stuff in them. Really, of course, my radios are sitting back there out of the way of everything, but really, I just need a place to. Right now, I'm thinking about setting me up a little bitty shack and putting my radio equipment in it and just running me two 20-ounce and everything right behind my garage right there where I can run everything right straight to it. Down for the garage 220 box out there, run everything right into it, and that way all I have to do is just put my coax in there, and it seems like it would be a good plan. If I ever get around to it, right now I'm just having to do with what I got, but it's a good setup. But it's just got a lot of, you ain't got no room to work in it really.
Yeah, Roger on that, Jerry. Yeah, I just built a house 4 years ago when I had the new power put in. I put a meter-based pass-through with breaker panel on it, so this attached right to the side of my garage, and then it feeds over to the new house with its own breaker panel on the outside. And but so it was easy for me just to put a 100-amp service into the shack with its own power panel. So I got a power panel dedicated with 100 amps just for the radio shack. Over.
Yeah, that's a good plan there. I got separate power. Matter of fact, separate meters and everything for my garage and the house. So what I bring off the garage is one power bill. What I bring out of the house is another power bill. But it just takes planning. I guess way back about 20 years ago, they told you to plan it before you build it. And I just put it together and never done a lot of planning, so I ended up getting more in the way than I did where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, Roger on that. Usually that's the way I am. I'm on a hurry to get stuff done, and I don't think it all the way through. But when I built this shack, I thought it all through, so I didn't have to go back and do anything.
Yeah, and lay back in the wintertime, have your little heater in there where you can keep your feet up and just lay back and enjoy the shack for a day. And I get out there a lot of times just dusting, cleaning things up around there, and I just sort of go along with what happens when I get there and see who's on there to talk to. Most of the time, you might hear the 2 meters keying up in the background back there. I hear more on the simplex anymore going down the road on 77 down through here at 460 than I really hear on HF when I'm over in my shack.
Yeah, Roger that. Yeah, I've just got a little mobile 2 meter with an 80 meter, 80 watt amp on it, and believe it or not, I've got a mobile magnet mount with a little wire round antenna on the magnet mount for my 2 meters and 440, and I can hit every repeater for 60 miles around. It's just sitting on top of my apex of my metal pole barn. Provides the perfect ground plane for it. Over.
Yeah, it worked that way. I've used them like that. I have what I'm using is a full wave loop for 2 meters. It's figured, I think, on 1,000 and something. I can't remember exactly. And then I used 75 ohm coax with 66 velocity factor on it. And that made the best little loop amp for that 2 meters that I've ever seen in my life.
Roger that.
I made one for the 70 centimeter, and I use it on the crossover for the 2 meter coming in and 70 centimeter coming over here to the house. I have on a Kenwood 2000. As long as you got 2 antennas, you can just about run any amount of power either one of them wants to put out. But I keep them down low because I don't need no whole lot of power coming off of them. But I also have an amp over there that's got 200 watts on the 2 meter side. Everything works out pretty good for me.
Yeah, Roger on that. Yeah, I definitely need to go through this shack and clean all these cables up and everything and make it a little bit more tidy. But if you got QTA or QRZ, you got access to it. You can look up my call sign. You can see what my shack looks like.
Yeah, so I made me a sign here the other day and put on the outside of mine up there. Done a pretty good job on it there with the English handwriting and an old jig I had. So I was pretty well satisfied. Got all that fixed and all the dust out and everything marked over there and all my cables marked where they went to. I find something to do every time I go over. KC8 GBF for identification.
W9UQF. Okay, KC8 GBF. W9UQF. Very good, Jerry. Yeah, the signal's holding pretty good right now. Maybe the band's going to get a little better this evening.
Yeah, you ain't dropped a S unit. You're still right up there, a signal 10 over an S9.
Yeah, Roger. Here's somebody tuning up.
Yeah, they'll be here in a minute, I reckon. It ain't showing up on my scope here. I got a monitor, external monitor hooked on this 9,000 over here, and it's showing pretty quiet there. So they probably down there close to you, huh?
Yeah, most likely.
It's just smooth on this end right here and everything. It's within. I got it set for 2.4K. Everything set that way, and I got it divided back to where everything's clear on. I believe I got a -20 on that, and it just brings the sound in better on the radio here. So I leave it right there. I'm hearing empowered, and it works pretty good with my ears.
Yeah, Roger. So you got your receive set at 2.4K?
Yeah, my receive is set at 2.4, and my bottom is -20 on where I fine tune it.
Yeah, Roger. What do you use for your transmit? 3?
It's it's a 3 transmit. It's a 2.4K on receive.
Roger.
Works out pretty good for me that way.
Yeah, especially when our ears get as bad as they do at our age, huh?
Yeah, you can set a little bit of bass in it that way, and when you set it down like 2.4 there and on the 3, and I got a -20, and that put a little bit more bass in my receive.
Roger.
Yeah, the older you get, the more you got to turn to the right.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
I've worn these hearing aids since 1985.
Yeah, I've been, you say you've been a ham since 85?
I know my hearing aids I'm wearing. I've worn hearing aids since 85. I've been an amateur operator since 94, 95, somewhere around there is when I made my first Tech Plus license with 5 words per minute. Then I got my general with 12 words per minute. And then I passed the extra class, but I just absolutely couldn't keep up with that daggone dit and da. So I just let it go right there, and now you don't have to do that. And I guess I done forgot all the answers to the questions now. So I'm satisfied where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm just a general. I can go do the extra, but it hurts my brain too much to think that hard, Jerry.
Yeah, it's we're okay. We got all the talk frequencies, and that's all that matters.
That's right. I mean, you can get an extra 50 cycles of bandwidth to go to extra on all the bands. Other than that, I mean, it doesn't do me. I don't even go to 160. I don't think I've ever been on 160. Over.
I've used 160, and I've had a 160 antenna up one time, and I cut it to length using the dipole measurements, and both times I got it right dead on I believe 1.870. I think that's where it went both times, and it worked out real good for me there, feeding it on the 234 principle, and I don't have one like that up now, but I got this dipole that's got 160 meters in it, but I just don't ever hear nobody on it.
Yeah, somebody told me night 4 last is 160 is better in the winter time.
Well, it's better after dark because during the daytime that's got a lot of AM radio stations on it, and they run about 1,000 to 1,500 watts just to get out local, on them AM radios. And then after it goes down, if they was running that after the evening times when they sign off, man, you'd be really spreading out there, so they just don't use it in the evenings and AM radio broadcast. But no, the 160 meter, that's when it opens up really good at night.
Yeah, roger that.
But I've used it a few times there. I got a Barker Williamson antenna. I got it rolled back up in the garage there. It's one of those folded dipoles. And it does not like metal at all. You can take it on a tree limb and sort of slope it down and use it that way on wood, and it really works good with the full power. But it's just, like I said, if you put it up on a tower, when you go to using full power or anything over about 300 watts, it goes to ricocheting off that tower, and the radio don't like that.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, hopefully I get around to getting my, I'm going to put up a full 80-meter loop delta loop and built it in a triangle. I got a big open field on the other end of my garage and enough trees around the edge of the property. I got 13 acres, so I got enough to hang, and I just ain't got the energy to do it.
I've got room to put one up, but I just never did put one of them up there. They said it takes a lot of area to do that with. And the tuning that they got for it, but it comes right out just about by the mass. If you put your loop up and you make your balun out of coax, that regular TV style coax, 75 ohms, and figure it to measure it, and you don't even have to be critical with it. And you set it down there in your shed like that, and it'll just about tune up right off the bat.
Yeah, Roger.
I don't know what it would do if you use regular coax. You might have to shorten or lengthen or whatever, but I know the 75 ohm coax, it works out like a charm.
I never thought about that. I got a whole 500-foot spool of that, but I was going to put up some, I got 1,000 foot of 12 gauge solid core. I was going to use that to put it up. Over.
Yeah, you just take your length, and your frequency into 255 and times your velocity factor and figure out coax that way. Mine's 66. I know the velocity factor on the road coax I got out there TV. Most of it is 66, and you can just about figure it on that. That'd still be a pretty good long piece of coax to come into the shack.
Yeah, Roger. I got a tower sitting out too far away from my garage to utilize, so I get free internet from an RF internet company. He uses my tower as a relay point to extend his range out, so I get 60 megabyte down Wi-Fi or internet for free.
You can't beat that, huh? I got two towers here. One of them give me about 100 megabytes free and hook onto them.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I've got a 40-foot, well, about a 45-foot tower. It's got a 10-foot section buried 5 feet down. That's been there forever and ever and ever. And when I bought the property from my brother, I've got my dad's call sign. I took that over when he passed away in 2009, and since then built a new house, and believe it or not, I forgot to build me a radio room in my new house, so that's why I'm out in the garage and I'm just too far away from it for a feed line. Over.
Yeah, it happens. I got two 30-foot towers, and one of them I got 10 foot of pipe coming out the top of it, and the other one I got a 10-meter antenna coming up out of the top of it. And that's the way I got them set up. I was going to use both of them as one tower, but I just figured I'd divide them up because they're both on hinge plates, and I could take a side-by-side or a four-wheeler and raise it up and down that way, and I won't have to have the neighborhood to help me.
Yeah, Roger on that. That's the way to do it. Yeah, this one's fixed solid. I wish it had a tilt plate in it, but it doesn't. If I put up another tower out here beside the garage, I've been debating whether I want to spend the money to do that right now with the cost of tower sections. When I bought that 40-foot, four 10-foot sections, they were only $100 a piece. Now they're over $200 a piece for them.
Yeah, it's pretty high there. Now both my hinge plates are homemade. They work real good there. And just took a couple of ears and weld them on there. And there's two. The one is real heavy plates. I got one heavy plate for the tower, and the other heavy plate that sits on the ground, and it just hinges back up on the other one, and a big old bolt in the middle holds her down, and that takes care of it there. And the other one, it just hinges back there, and it's got a pin that goes in here, and it holds it pretty solid. So I've never had any problems with them.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, but if I do decide to put a tower up, maybe a 30-footer along the garage here, that's what I'll do. I'll set the concrete, get me a hinge plate, and do it that way, because I actually have an extra 2,000-pound winch that I can mount at the base of it, put it on pulleys, and lower it and raise it with that.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I got the winch, the 2,000-pound winch I had there. He didn't want to pull it from the bottom with the way I got it set up there, so I've got me a 3,500-pound winch, and he just starts it. All he has to do is start it. And once it starts it, you can pull it up just about by yourself after you get it up there so far. But that's the only thing about it. But it works pretty good. I've never had any problem out of it.
Yeah, Roger.
Last time I let it down, it raised the four-wheeler up in the air, and I had to drag the four-wheeler and hold it, and hold the winch cable too there. And me and the four-wheeler both have done a pretty good job.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I've got one of those big Polaris Ranger UTVs, you know, and it's got a dump bed on it and all that. That was a freebie from my sister when her husband passed away. I was storing it down here because they live in an HOA up there in Middletown, Kentucky, and I was storing in the garage. She just told me to keep it.
Yeah, no, if you got a winch on it, that'll take care of a 3-section tower, and it won't even move.
Yeah, Roger. Yep, it's got a 2,500-pound winch on it.
That's all you need right there. It raised it up, made her back down for you too there. All you gotta do is just set the brake, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, Roger.
I never did want to put one big old long towers up there. It takes just too much to get them in there. You have to have a daggone good anchor behind it. And you got to have a good anchor on both sides in order to get her up there if you ain't got no help. And they have to be pretty solid, because when you get out to about a 60-foot tower, you got a lot of pressure on that hinge joint.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, my dad used to have a 60-foot tower up, and we had three big old, I guess 13/16ths or maybe not quarter inch, but half inch, whatever's in between a quarter inch and half inch, steel cables, guide wires. We had three of them on it. Never had a problem with it.
Yeah, as long as you got your cable set up there and got a good hinge point and a good anchor point back there, that's the main thing if you're going to use them big long towers, is have you something back there that'll hold it when you go to pull it up or let it down. Once you get it up there, guide wires or whatever you want to use will hold it up there pretty good for you, but getting it up there and getting it back down is the trouble. I just use these 3 sections here. I don't ever have no trouble talking anywhere I can hear somebody, so I just say that's good enough for me.
Yeah, Roger on that. Hey, Jerry, I want to get out of here for a minute. The wife just texted me, wants me to come in the house and probably got another to-do list for me. So, but I'll have this on here. I'll have this frequency on here for, I don't know, probably another 3 hours before I go down to 3816. But it's been a pleasure talking to you, Jerry, and I hope you have a fine afternoon. KC8GBF, W9UQI.
W9UTI. KC8GBF, seriously, players have been on my end too. Take care of yourself there. You might be coming through the alternator on that lawnmower, and she might be wanting you over to fix that.
Yeah, Roger. I've got a big zero turn. You know, I haven't mowed a blade of grass in probably 6 years. Ever since I showed her how to use it, and she's got 7 acres to mow, and she just gets on there once a week and goes to town.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan to me. Okie dokie, take care of yourself. We'll catch you when we hear you again.
All right, Jerry, 73s, have a nice day. W9UQI clear.
Whiskey, Delta, 8, Sierra, Delta, Hotel. I say again, Whiskey, Delta, 8, Sierra, Delta, Hotel. Over.
CQ Boda, Kilo 4, Hotel Sierra November, CQ Boda. CQ Boda, Kilo 4, Hotel Sierra November, CQ Boda. CQ Boda,
Kilo 4, Telstar, November CQ Boda.